Hi. So I'm Belleruth Napperstack again, and this is a continuing set of reminiscences about the start of our company, being as how it's our 30th anniversary this week, which is really kind of hard to fathom. Anyway, so where last we let off, Bonnie had bullied me into creating a chemotherapy tape for her, and she had sold it somehow to the entire staff of the Ireland Cancer Centre's infusion unit. So let's speed ahead to 1988. And this chemo guided imagery tape is now being used at university hospitals of Cleveland, and it's continuing to be a hit. And by now, I've moved my private practice from Washington, D.C. to Northeast Ohio. My husband is fully installed as Dean of Case Western Reserve's Mandel School of Applied Social Sciences, and I am quietly seeing clients and doing my part as the lovely Mrs. Dean, hosting many dinner parties and receptions to help revitalize this somewhat mordant graduate school. Okay, so these were days when cancer patients would end up with a bedside stack of this one book, this best-selling Bernie Siegel book, Love, Medicine, and Miracles. Remember that? Because it was a gift that offered some hope and inspiration, and as a result, everybody bought it for anyone they knew with cancer. You'd go visit a friend with cancer at the hospital, they would have a stack of 3 of these books on their table. So I decided that a perfect alternate choice in lieu of a 4th Bernie book that someone didn't need might be an audio get well card that dispensed guided imagery into the ears of the patient. It would have pleased me to give such a thing to a friend of mine. So, and there were already rudimentary audio cards that could wish you a happy birthday or congratulations on something, so it wasn't a completely off-the-wall idea. And having gotten acquainted with various Cleveland hotshots and captains of industry through my lovely Mrs. Dean soirees, I set up a meeting with the CEO of American Greetings, that's a local Cleveland company, to pitch my idea to the CEO. We ended up having a terrific 3-hour deep dish conversation, and he totally got the idea, but he also very forthrightly told me that the company moved at a glacial, super bureaucratic pace, and they would drive me crazy, which is true. So instead, he suggested I talk to his good friend, the dean of the Weatherhead Business School at Case Western Reserve. Well, I knew that guy. I just hadn't thought of it, but I knew him from about a bazillion receptions I had either attended or hosted. He was a friend and colleague of my husband, and for that reason alone, I knew he had to meet with me as a courtesy to him. So I set up a formal appointment, and I came to his office. I explained what I wanted to do, and he listened very carefully, and then he gave me an assignment. He said, it was a very funny thing. He said he wanted a 1-pager describing my product and for what and for whom it was designed. And he wanted me to explain its unique attributes that were unlike anything anybody else had. He called this barriers to entry. And I nodded sagely like I knew what he was talking about, and then looked it up later after I left his office. He also wanted me to give him samples of the competition in my category. And then he gave me a very friendly but no-nonsense look as he stood up, ending the meeting. as he stood up and leaning in towards me and tapping on his desk for emphasis. He said, "I want one page. I want it crisp. I want it clear. I want it concise. And I need it back here by December 18th because we're leaving for London the next day and I can read it on a plane." That's when it occurred to me that this was a test, because all this dude knew about me was that I threw a pretty good party. He was not about to put himself out for what might prove to be a bored, dilettante dean's wife with odd ideas and too much time on her hands. This was not so unusual in 1988. Anyway, it was worse in 1968. So I worked diligently over my pithy one-pager. I scrupulously looked up all the Biz-Speak terms. I used them whenever feasible. I showed it to my husband, who was bilingual, speaking both social work and Biz-Speak. And I asked him if it looked good enough to submit to his pal, the dean of the business school. He looked at it, he read it, and he said, "Honey, this reads like you channeled an MBA," he said, which I found to be both hilarious and encouraging. Those were things he generally was, hilarious and encouraging. So, thus fortified, I returned to the dean's office. I sailed past his receptionist and plunked down my one-pager right on his desk, along with some audio tapes of the competition. I mirrored his no-nonsense look that he'd given me. I leaned in and I said, "It's one page. It's crisp. It's clear. It's concise. And it's December 16th. It's hard to express how much fun I had doing that. Perhaps I have. He looked a little disoriented for a minute, and then he smiled broadly, remembering what he had told me. I grinned back. We had a whole new relationship. 3 weeks later, we met again, and he gave me some great direction, which I'm not going to go into now. But basically, he said something to the effect, "You can do this alone in your basement. It'll drive you crazy. You'll make no money. It'll take all your time. You can employ your kids." He says, "Or you can sell it to a great big company like American Greetings, and you will have nothing to do with the ultimate product. Won't even look like what you had in mind, and it'll take forever. Or you could find a businessman to partner up with who would handle the business end, and you could just provide the content." So I thought about my choices, A, B, C, and I definitely liked C as the only possible thing. So I told him that, and he suggested a businessman in the community who just might be nuts enough to go for this idea. And he said he would make introductions, which he did. And he sent me on my way with what was going to become this business partnership and me becoming a kind of accidental business person, but mostly sticking with the content and the sort of the artistic aspect of it. So on my way out the door, I remember asking him one final question, which was, "Hey, for this meeting with this business guy, will I need to dress like a business person?" He pondered this a moment and he said, "Nah, he's business, you're talent, wear whatever you want." Anyway, so that was the story of how I became this accidental partner in a business producing this stuff. And more on that later, but it worked out for 25 years. We worked together on this. Anyway, that's my story. Stay tuned for more reminiscences if you can stand them. It's kind of fun for me, but I have no idea if this is of any interest to anybody else. Thanks.